Hello, my name is Luce, and today we are discussing algebraic properties. So, algebraic properties is a two-sided equation where you have known variables on one side, and then on the other side you have unknown variables. And having unknown variables makes it kind of difficult to understand to solve. Um, but using these three steps here, where we evaluate the expression, we find out the structure and the changing of values, that will also help us. And our algebraic property consists of three laws. It consists of cumulative law, associative law, and distributive law. So our cumulative law just allows us to reorder the equation any way we want to, as long as it adds and multiplies where it's supposed to be. So for example, a plus b equals b plus a, and then you have a times b equals b times a. Our associative law allows us to put our parentheses anywhere as long as everything is still being added or multiplied. Kind of like the same thing for commutative law, just with the parentheses. So you have in parentheses a plus b, and outside c plus c is equal to a plus, and then in parentheses b plus c, along with this multiplication right here. And our distributive law is a combination of addition and multiplication. And when a sum is multiplied by a value, the value is distributed to each part of the sum. So what it means is that basically we have a simplified equation and we're just layering it, making it longer, the long version of it per se. So you have a and times b plus c, and all we're going to do, because a goes into b and then a goes into c too, but it's being added. So you have a times b plus a times c. Alright, so let's get into the steps. So our first step is to evaluate the expression. So for these steps, you need to first replace the variables with its respective values, the known values. Perform the operations in correct order, and then write the result. So an example I have here is, if x equals 5 and y equals 7, what is the value of 3x plus y over 2? So what we will do first is replace our variables with their respective values. So we already know our x and our y, so we'll replace those numbers with our variables. Those variables with our numbers. So it'll be 3 times 5 plus 7 over 2. Okay, now what? So then we will do the multiplication process. So 3 times 5 equals 15 plus 7 over 2. Then we'll have to add the numerator numbers together, so that will give us 15 plus 7 is equal to 22 over 2. And then you simplify that, so 22 divided by 2 is 11, and 11 is our answer. Moving on to the next step is structure. So the first step we need to do is identify the relationship between the expressions. So what they have related will give us a big step ahead to our equation. That way we have something that we can get started on. And if we already have an expression that is known, we just need to write the other expression in terms of the expression with the known value. So say for example, you already have, on one side you have a known value such as x equals 6, or along the ways, and the other side you just have x, you replace that x with 6. Alright? Then we'll substitute known value for our expression and then evaluate the expression for the last step. An example I have here is, if 2x minus y is equal to 3, what is the value of 4x minus 2y plus 6? So this may be kind of difficult to look at first, but in terms of factoring and multiplication, it can help us. So if we take a look at here, 2 and 4, how do they relate? Well, 2 goes into 4 by 2, and we have negative y and negative 2y. Negative y goes into negative 2y 2 times. So we both know and have a clue that, hey, maybe this equation right here, 4x minus 2y, is just a multiple of 2. So then we'll factor that out, and we'll make it really simple to where it matches with our first equation right here. So then we'll turn 4x minus 2y into 2 times 2x minus y. What we'll do from here is we'll insert the 6 into our equation to make it look like 2 times 2x minus y plus 6. Alright? And so what we know from here is that this equation over here already states that it equals 3. So we don't really need this anymore. We can insert an actual number here. So we'll substitute 2x minus y for 3. So then we'll get 2 times 3 plus 6 instead of 2 times 2x minus y plus 6. It makes it look really simple and will give us a closer step into solving the equation. And so now all we gotta do is multiply and add. So 3 times 2 is 6, and then 6 plus 6 is 12. So 12 is the value of 4x minus 2y plus 6. Our last step is changing a value. So we first need to determine how the variables are related and write a corresponding equation to it, something similar to it. And then second, we'll need to fill out the known variables and then calculate the change to variable in the equation. So an example I have here is if x times y is equal to z, how does the value of z change if x is doubled and the value of y remains unchanged? So what we can already tell from here is that our x, it says doubled, but that also means it's just multiplied by 2, right? So our x is doubled, so it's multiplied by 2, right? Right. And so our y remains unchanged. So how we can put that is we can just multiply it by 1, because anything times 1 is just itself. So our equation then turns to 2x times 1y. But how will we put it for z? Because we want to know the value of z, but we also want it to be equal to the other side. So what we're going to do is we're going to change z to 2 times xy. That way it's still the same as the left side and it's equal to it. And so this leaves us as the value of z will be 2 times as great, since we already had a coefficient of 2.